Hello again everybody, and welcome back to the channel. And today I'm just going to basically go over my collection and give you a general update of what's going to be happening on the channel for the near future. So basically I just wanted to start off by showing you my collection. So the first figure I have is Darkside Anakin. I actually only have two figures in the Star Wars line, being Count Dooku and Darkside Anakin. And Darkside Anakin was my first Star Wars figure, and I think he's amazing. The head sculpt, I think it's superb, and you can really get him in some fantastic poses because obviously the suit is just cloth, so you don't have to worry about creasing or anything, and you get this fantastic display base, which unfortunately is too big if you want to stand him on top of it in a detolf. I got these lights on eBay, by the way. They look a bit unsightly from the on top, but they get the job done very nicely and really show off the details, which makes them look even better in my opinion. So basically next I have Count Dooku, and I am trying to get a Yoda figure for Dooku, because Dooku is probably my favourite Star Wars character, or one of them at the very least, and I was never actually going to pick this figure up, but he's been kind of trending up lately, and I figured I'd get him whilst the prices are still relatively affordable. So if you don't have this figure, I'd highly recommend it, because the head sculpt alone is honestly worth it. That's probably one of the best head sculpts I've ever seen, and he just looks really great, even just standing there in quite a classic pose like this. And when I get Yoda, I'm going to have to change this pose, but have an idea about what that pose will be. And the same with Anakin actually. I'm trying to get a hold of an Obi-Wan, so again these poses will change. I'm all about the Star Wars hype at the minute. I think they're all really good figures, and just the general prices for Star Wars figures has gone through the roof, so I think it's definitely worth picking them up if you can. So moving on, I have the Advanced Suit SpiderMan from the PS4 game. This is probably one of my favourite suits in the game, so I thought I might as well get it. I sold it for the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit. I was never a huge fan of that figure, and the proportions were a bit wacky for me. This is far better in my opinion. Just the definition and the posability. The suit still will crease over time if you leave it in those extreme poses, but I don't think it's as bad as the what the Amazing Spider-Man 2 version was, and I just prefer this suit design, to be honest. Some of his accessories are out and about. That's a really nice thing that he comes with, so if you don't have this one, I highly recommend it, especially if you're trying to complete the Spider-Man PS4 line, obviously. So next up I have the Infinity War Doctor Strange, and I actually had both Doctor Stranges, the one from the individual film as well, and decided to keep this one. I think the head sculpt on the older version is better, but this one seems better in terms of paint application, and it looks more lifelike in my opinion, and as well the tailoring and the cape are, in my opinion, so much better in the Infinity War version compared to the solo film version, especially the cape. If you have both side by side, the cape on this just looks leagues better. I don't like these display bases. I really don't like the hexagonal ones. I much prefer like these straight up rectangular ones, or the lower footprint oval ones, mainly because, yeah, they're lower footprint, and I don't know, I was never a huge fan of them, to be honest. So that's basically this side of the collection. And moving over to the other side, this is basically an Iron Man shrine. So when I first got into collecting, I said I'd basically only ever collect Iron Man figures, and that very quickly changed. So I have the Mark II Armour Unleashed version there. You have to forgive me, I can't fully open the door on this side for lack of space, but that figure is really actually still quite good. It doesn't obviously hold up to the modern figures, being the Mark IV diecast next to him, but it's still very good and it looks great, I think, even just standing there. I am contemplating upgrading it for the diecast version, but I actually don't know if it's 100% worthwhile. You'll have to let me know what you think if you have that figure. So here we have the Mark IV diecast, and he's a great figure. Even in just a pose like this, I really enjoy this pose, just straight up and down. He just looks like he commands a presence on the shelf, and my ideal setup is to have them just side by side next to each other like this. I have three next to each other on this shelf, but I think the two next to each other looks great. And if you don't have any of the diecast figures, I highly recommend you pick one up. If you want to pick one up now, it's going to have to be that Mark VII, which I think is still a fantastic figure. Behind him is the Mark V. He does look really good. He's probably one of my favourite figures in the whole collection. I know I say that about all of them, but I'm trying to get an angle. But yeah, he's a top class figure, and so is the Mark VI. For some reason I don't like this pose on the Mark VI. I'm not sure what to pose him in. I thought I'd try something similar as the Mark IV, but for me the 6 doesn't work nearly as well in a pose like that. I really don't know why, but I just put a generic oval display base on there, and this display base is the crime for me. I hate how bulky it is. You can see how much of the detail it takes up. It's definitely not ideal, but the Mark VII itself is fantastic. I really do recommend it if you're on the fence about it at all, or if you if you're just considering it, definitely go for it. And the last figures I have are the Mark 15, the 21 and the 42, and the 15 is really nice. It's an old plastic figure, but it still looks really great in my personal opinion. Along with the 21, it's the old Mark 7 plastic suit, basically just painted fully gold, which I don't have a problem with. I think it still looks amazing, and I probably will never actually sell that suit. I think it looks truly just remarkable in that colour scheme. And the Mark 42 was a really nice suit when it came out. I'm sort of not liking it as much now, probably because Iron Man 3 over time has really just not gone that well and not appealed to me as much. So I am considering selling the 15 and the 42, basically to make space. I don't have that much space, and if I can fill the space with figures I prefer, then obviously that's a win-win really. So that's basically the collection. So in terms of actual updates for this channel, I do plan to hopefully continue doing these sort of mini collection videos, because I basically like to archive how my collection's changed over time, and hopefully you've enjoyed seeing which ones I actually keep in my collection as well. If you saw my last video, I did an overview of the Toy for exclusives, and I plan to continue discussions like that into the future. I think that's something I enjoy talking about, and if you'd like to see any reviews of any of these figures, then I'd be more than happy to create them, especially with newer releases. I'm planning to get hopefully some of the newer releases sort of day one, so hopefully I can actually create reviews of those if people are interested. So yeah, that's pretty much my collection and the update for this channel. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed, and I will see you all in the next video.